Space. A dark, endless black. Deeper and more unfathomable than any sea. Unchartable in its vastness. Unknowable in its mysteries. And filled with vicious predators, waiting to carve the blood from their prey and hunt down enemies in eerie and disturbing silence. And they are on our side?
That are alive coming with me.
ZX Spider-Man Commodore 128 and 64. I hit the floor, I hit the shore. Got game skills from days of yore. I close the deck, computer rolls, playing till my hands.
How's it going, everybody on Holy Terra? I'm Bolter, and welcome to Beef Snake Nerdcast. The Carcharodon Astra. Yes, today we are talking about another questionably loyal Space Marine chapter. And this one's going to be fun because, by the Emperor, what is up with these guys? For starters, let's go with names. This chapter officially has 3 names. Kind of. Like I mentioned before, they are referred to as the Carcharodon Astra, which can be shortened to Carcharodon. Or, if you're feeling clever, you can also just call them the Space Sharks. I'm not joking, that's roughly what their name translates to in the 40k language of Low Gothic. But seeing how the language of High Gothic, which is the fancy version of the language, is just spicy Latin, it's still not wrong. Now, the Carcharodon are a fleet-based chapter. This means that they don't have a home base or planet. And that's actually how they like it. Their method, mindset, and doctrine is very predatory. They see themselves as hunters amongst the stars, seeking prey out where they live. This attitude of self-sufficiency works better than you might expect, too. Even with the massive, bloated, and overly redundant mechanism of record-keeping that is the Administratum, the Imperium of Man really has no idea who these creepy armored gray loners are. They don't even file reports, or they don't send data to the Administratum. They don't announce where they're going, or what forces they've been in contact with. They don't even communicate to allies in combat. They don't even talk when they're fighting. No war cries, no banter, no insults. Just nothing. They often get confused for other Space Marine chapters. We don't even know what founding these guys are from, meaning they could be one of the oldest chapters from the Horus Heresy, or a fairly young chapter. We just don't know. But don't worry, we do have something on these guys. While the Administratum may not have anything on these literal pointy-toothed bastards, the Inquisition does. Which doesn't help make them any less unnerving. The Inquisition knows, for a fact, that they served with the Loyalists during the big fustercluck that was the Badab War. They were instrumental in kicking some sense into the Mantis Warrior Space Marine chapter. And then beating the ever-loving shit out of them. And then ransacking them for gene seed and necessary components for their chapter to make new Space Marines. And then taking their gear. Damn, guys. And just like that, they were gone. Well, it did help cow one of the renegade Space Marines back into line. The Mantis Warriors were hardly in a position to contribute anything until they were rebuilt back to fighting strength. The Sharks seemed to act more like raiders than soldiers, but this would be untrue. As other Space Marine chapters that have fought next to them have noted, it's not that they fight with mindless savagery like, say, the Flesh Terrors, but more that they use simple, basic, and brutally effective tactics in clever ways. They will strike quietly and without warning, giving and expecting no mercy, closing into close combat where they are most effective. If the attack proves ineffective, they pull their forces back, regroup, and attack again later, likely hitting the front that got softened up in the initial assault. Their fast, horrifying, and bloody engagements are meant to break the enemy. As for the chapter's culture, this is one of those chapters that is very unique, as they are so isolated from everyone else. They have a deep appreciation for a style of art, believe it or not, that can only be credited to them amongst the Imperium. flowing linework similar to the tribal patterns and tattoos from oceanic cultures on Terra today. Adorn the ships, adorn the armor, and even adorn the skin of these remorseless killers. The trend in this art is jaws, deep-sea predators, and of course, sharks. The tattoos stand out exceptionally well against the grayish skin of these battle brothers. Speaking of skin, the Carcharodons look weird, even by Space Marine standards. Like I mentioned, their skin colors are usually a dull gray, their mouths full of noticeable pointed teeth, and their eyes have no color at all, just pitch black reflective voids that stare into the empty space they dwell in. With such strange appearances, it does beg the question of who their Primarch, the demigod-like being who is the genetic base of all Space Marines, is. Officially, one of the few things the Imperium does know about these guys is they claim to be descendants of the Raven Guard Space Marines, and, by extension, to be genetic sons of the Primarch Corvus Corax, the Crow Lord. But many people, myself included, don't think this adds up. For one, by the time of the second founding of Space Marines and the implementations of chapters instead of legions, up until the present time of 40k, the Raven Guard have been chronically undermanned, only having a small number of successor chapters compared to, say, the Imperial Fists or Ultramarines. Most being, big surprise, bird-themed. And if the Carcharodons did descend from Corax, why are they all the way out on the borders of the Imperium? It seems almost like a punishment, doesn't it? Now, it is theorized, but not canon, that the Carcharodons are in fact descendants of a much darker source. The infamous traitor Primarch and madman, Conrad Kurz, the Night Haunter, and gene-father to the vicious and depraved Night Lord's Legion of Traitor Marines. How is that possible, Bolter? You might ask. Well, we don't know for sure, but this is 40k. The lore is loose at best and contradicting at times. We do know that some elements of the traitor legions did remain loyal to the Emperor, and most of them were killed by their treacherous brothers. But some might have survived. Hell, some Space Marine chapters might even just be straight up created later using recently rediscovered untainted genetic stock from the traitor Primarchs. This, of course, would be seen as blasphemous to the Imperium, so those chapters would need to lie about their origins. So why is it suspected that Conrad Kurz is their Primarch, and not Corvus Corax? Good question. The two were quite similar sometimes in thinking and appearance. Black hair, pale skin, a propensity for stealth. The damning bit of evidence is their eyes. Corax had relatively, for a Primarch anyway, normal eyes. Kurz had jet black eyes, just like the sharks. On top of that, it can't be denied that, between the two of them, sudden, shockingly violent attacks were much more Conrad's game. Whoever their Primarch really is, this ominous, mysterious, brutal chapter is not to be fucked with. Regardless of whose side they claim to be on. Because out there, in the deep, dark black, the predators don't sleep, and they have a mouthful of hungry teeth, eagerly waiting for prey. Thank you for tuning into Beef Snake Nerdcast. I've been Bolter, and this is what I wanted to share about the Carcharodon Astra Space Marines chapter. If you've enjoyed this, give me a look on the socials. Hit like, subscribe, and smash that bell. Christ, I hate that. Tune in next time when I cover the fastest guns in Destiny. Till then, stay out of the water.